Hi, and welcome back to my podcast. My name is Charlotte, and if you're new here, my name is Charlotte, and if you're a returning subscriber, then welcome back. I'm super happy you're here. I thought today I would do a little everything I made this year video. I'm a little bit late to the game, but I've been a bit busy, so I haven't had time, and I thought it would be interesting to show everything that I made in 2022. I started knitting in 2021 in November, so in a way this is kind of everything that not everything, because I'm not going to include the things that I knit in November and December, but most of the things that I will show are kind of my knitting journey through beginning knitting and starting and learning to now being able to knit a bit more advanced things. So yeah, maybe it can be interesting to someone that has just started knitting and wants to see a progression in a year's worth of knitting. So yeah, a little bit about me. I live in France with my boyfriend. We just moved into an apartment in the south of France, in Provence. We are living half an hour north of Toulon, which is as south as you can get, really. Next to the Toulon is next to the water in the Mediterranean, so we're half an hour away from there. And we're living in a very old hamlet, which is a privately owned hamlet that will be used for people staying, like as a hotel and as a restaurant. And my boyfriend is working in the garden as the main gardener for all of the vegetables grown for the restaurant. So right now we're the only people living here, and it's extremely beautiful. If I can, I will add some footage to show you guys what it looks like. Okay, so let's see. I'll try to go through everything in order of when I knit it so that you can kind of see the progression a little bit. And excuse me if I don't remember all the names of everything I knit. There's things that I knit a year ago that I don't really remember what they were. Or the pattern was something I found online, just on a website that is not Ravelry, that I don't have it saved. So let's have a look. So is that the first thing in it? I think the first thing I knit, which I knit as a gift for my boyfriend, was this. It is a glove cup holder, and I think I saw Inga from Knitting Traditions podcast knit something like this, and I just thought it was super cool, so I wanted to knit something similar. You put your cup, beer or whatever you want in here, and then you can drink it and keep your hands warm. I think I found this pattern on Ravelry. I don't remember what it was called, but if you just go on Ravelry and put in glove cup warmer, it comes up with different patterns for this. And actually this was extremely complicated for a beginner knitter. Well, for me anyway. There was many things that I had no idea how to do, especially with the this part, because I can't even remember how it was knit, but inside this is doubled, so at some point I guess I don't even remember how it was knit. I know the bottom I crocheted a circle. I can't remember if that was in the pattern or I just made that up myself, but yeah, it worked out okay. And then I wanted to felt it, but I didn't have a washing machine where we were, so because we were, if you've been watching this video my podcast before, then you know that we were living in our camping car for the last 5 years, and last year we were in Sardinia, so we didn't have a washing machine, so I couldn't put this in the washing machine to felt it. So I tried to felt it by hand, but it didn't really work. So it's not as close as I would like, but anyway, yeah, it's fun. The wool is a wool from Sardinia, basically. It's a Sardinian wool. It's very rustic. So yeah, that's the first thing I knit in 2022. Okay, next thing. Hey, no, quiet. The next thing I knit was so before 2022, in November and December when I first started knitting, I think I knit 3 things, and they were all very basic, little top and a sort of very loose gauge jumper. If you want to see those, I have another video where I show everything that I knit from November to November or something like that, and it shows the stuff that I knit at the very start. The quality is not very good of that video, so I do excuse in advance that. So once I'd done that, I decided I wanted to knit something with a bit more technique. I'd never done any raglan or short rows or anything like that, so I knit this. This is the Timber Top Tee, I think it's called, by, oh, what's her name? I can't remember her name right now. I will put it down here. It's right on the tip of my tongue. But it's the Timber Top Tee, and it's the first sort of real thing I think that I made that is like a proper garment. It was a very fun thing to knit, as everything was new to me, especially doing the little colour work, the little bumps with the pearl bumps, and yeah, it was enjoyable. The yarn that I used was some yarn that had been given to me by a family friend, some vintage yarn, this green. It's not a colour I would personally choose, but I had it, so I used it. And then the white is just left over from some tops that I knitted in November. I think the white is it's by Wool in the Gang, and it's the Shiny Happy Cotton, I think. So it was some leftover from that, and yeah, it's a bit oversized. It's a little bit big, and it's very cropped. But I still wear it in the summer. Not that much, but it's cute. I mean, I'm proud of it because it's one of the first things I made that I was proud of. When I knit it, I was extremely happy that I'd created this. Well, I'd knit it. I didn't create the design, but so that is my timber top. Okay, next thing I knit. The next thing I knit was this. This is by Jennifer Steingass, I think her name is, and I think it's Fields of Gold, maybe something like that. I will put the name of the pattern down here, and this was I wanted to try colour work. It's the first time I ever did any colour work, and I got this yarn from a second-hand shop. It was a cone, and this one as well, and I think it had been eaten by moths, so it was very, very annoying. There was loads of breaks in the yarn, and so I didn't end up doing the sleeves because there was just so many breaks in the yarn. I couldn't use the yarn anymore. It was driving me crazy. I think the top part of this is very thick, and then the bottom part is nicer. There's a nice drape. I don't know what I did wrong. I guess I knit it a bit too tight, or I'm not sure. I've actually never really worn this. I think if I had been able to knit it as a jumper with long sleeves, then I would have preferred it, but for now I haven't really worn it. We'll see. Maybe the weather this spring will be more what's the word? more accustomed to this kind of garment because I knit this in last year in maybe February or March, but I didn't finish it, and then I waited ages, and then I just did little capped sleeves in the end. So by that time it was too hot, it was summer, and I didn't want to wear it, of course. But I don't know, I think that this is a bit too tight, so when I lift my arms it lifts up a little bit, but yeah. It's still cute. I have a mistake on the back. I don't know what I did, but here there's something missing. So yeah, that is that little guy, my first colour work, and I was very proud of this when I first made it. I was very happy with the colour work, and I like the colour combinations. It's just a shame that I wasn't able to make it with long sleeves. Okay, moving on. The next thing I knit was, oops, this is the leaf top, and the pattern is by, I will put her name here because my memory is not with it right now. I knit this because I was inspired by Martina from the We Grow Wild podcast. I saw she had knit it and I thought it was beautiful, and I decided to knit it as well. The pattern is beautiful. It's extremely enjoyable to knit. I really love the texture and the lace work. I would just say that I chose, it's an organic cotton. I can't remember the name of the company. It's an organic cotton. I think it was a German cotton or something. Well, the cotton probably wasn't German, but the company was German. And it's very dry, the cotton. I don't like the texture. It's very dry, and it was a bit too thick because for me it's too big. I think I knit the smallest size, but it's very wide for my body. So I do wear it with something underneath, but I would love probably to knit another one that is smaller. Maybe I will choose a smaller yarn, or I'll knit there's another version of this that it doesn't have the break down the middle. But yeah, I'm not sure if I will knit another one or not, but I really love this, and I have very fond memories of knitting this last spring and being extremely excited to have it. It's such a beautiful pattern, and yeah, I would love to have one in a material that I prefer a little bit, because there's something about cotton that's just not so nice to touch. This for knitting purposes, like it's very dry. So yeah. Okay, moving on. This is the Blossom Top Circular by Knit the Mojo, I think it's called. Oh, itchy eye. And I knit this after knitting the leaf top because I was in like a lace sort of mood, and I was very into the. I think after knitting the lace top, after knitting the lace top, I figured out that I really enjoy patterns where it's not just stockinette, where there's something to keep your mind focused. And so I wanted another top like that. So I found this top, and the design is very beautiful. I think I didn't do it justice. Again, it's very wide. I don't know why whenever I knit little camisole tops, they end up being so wide. Me, I would prefer it to be like this, more like this kind of size, because they're very baggy on me, and yeah, but that's probably my fault. The pattern is lovely. It was very enjoyable to knit. It's not super easy to see the lace work in this dark colour, but back then I didn't really realise that. I didn't think about that. That wasn't a thought process that I had. Now I realise that knitting something with a lace work or a cable or something is better in a lighter colour if you want to be able to see it. There were some new techniques that I learned in this, like the double knitting for the straps. I did a terrible job in grafting them together. I had no idea what I was doing, but I tried. And I still wear this. Well, I will. Not right now because the ground is frozen and it's freezing outside. But when the summer is arriving, I will probably wear this. It just is a little bit baggy, but you know, it happens. And this one is also knit in cotton. This was another cotton from, I think, the same company as the leaf top. Yeah. So that is that. So next I made this. This is the Foliage Headband by Teti Lutzak. And this is knit doubled, so you can see it's like a double thickness. I knit this with British wool. I don't remember the name of the wool, but it's just a British wool. It was an enjoyable knit. I don't wear it so much because I'm pretty sure when I knit this I was still not so but I wasn't so knowledgeable about gauge and swatching, and even though I still don't really swatch, but so I think the yarn I used was probably a little bit too thin, so the thickness is a bit, I would prefer it to be a bit more like here in thickness so that it covered my ears a little bit better. I don't know whether I could block this and stretch it a bit, but yeah, it's very, very pretty. I would love to knit it again maybe, and make it a little bit wider. I think this was another thing I knit after the leaf top and the I've forgotten the name of it again. The green top that I knit with the lace. I was wanting to knit more lace, and so I knit this, and it's very beautiful. I just don't wear it so much because it doesn't cover my ears enough as I would like. But I really like headbands. I wear headbands a lot because I often have my hair up, so it's not practical for a hat. And I have very sensitive ears to the wind, and if I don't have something to cover them and keep them warm and block them from the wind, I get an earache very, very fast. So I really like headbands, and I should knit some more. That was the Foliage Headband. I would highly recommend knitting the pattern. It's very beautiful. Okay, next we have this top. So this top I decided to make because I had a lot of scrap yarns left over from knitting other tops. So, for example, the leaf top, the other green top that I made, I had this white left over. This is from a little bra that I made. It's the, what's it called? It's a Jessie Maid design. It's called the Structured something. I can't remember what it's called. But I don't have it here because it's in the wash. So, anyway, that was from that. And so I had all of these left over, and I wanted to knit something with them because I thought it was a shame to waste them. And I found this top. This is called the Racerback Tank by Hannah Singleton. And I love this top. It was very enjoyable to make. It made me very happy to not have to waste all of those scraps of yarn that I had left over. It's a great scrappy project, and yeah, I love it. It's the first sort of camisole summer top that I made that fits tightly, which is what I like. It's the first time I did I-cord edging, the first time I did stripes, and I didn't know about joining. Oh, I have a lot of ends coming out. That is the one problem with cotton, is that the ends, they don't stay inside very well, which is annoying. I didn't know about how to make the seam seamless when you join your colours together, but now I know. Anyway, I didn't know back then. So yeah, I love this top. It makes me super happy. I can throw it in the washing machine and it's fine, and in the summertime I wear it a lot. I would highly recommend knitting this if you have a load of cotton scraps left over. Even though, like I said before, the cotton I'm not a massive fan of, I enjoy it in this top. I enjoy it in this top and I think it works well. So yeah, that's my Racerback, and I would actually happily knit this again, not stripy but just a plain fabric, or maybe even with a rib or something. It's really nice. Okay, moving on. We have a lot to get through. What is next? This guy. So next I knit the Breezy top by Pia Trans, and again following this kind of lace sort of obsession that I was going through. This is the top. I wish I had knit this in a lighter colour, but again I didn't really know that knitting sort of lace work and things like that looks better in a lighter colour, but now I know. But I really love this. This yarn is knit in a half cotton, half linen combination, 50%, 50%, and the yarn is by Rowan, I think it's a Rowan yarn that I got in London, and I don't remember what size. All of the projects that I've just said, I don't remember the needle size, to be honest. This, I don't remember the needle size either, but I would say maybe it's a 4mm, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm pretty sure I followed the pattern size. So yeah, it's very, very cute. Little bubbles. This I also was inspired by Martina from We Grow Wild's podcast, because I saw she knit it and hers was beautiful and I wanted to give it a go. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to some more summer knits this summer. I did a lot of summer knits, and I feel like probably most people when they get into knitting, they don't start knitting summer knits, but because I started at the end of winter, my my ability was not good enough to start knitting jumpers, so tops and little things like that is what I started knitting, and that's something that I really enjoy knitting, and I look forward to knitting more tops this summer. I definitely think I won't knit as much in cotton, more probably viscose and bamboo and things like that, because I think the drape is a lot nicer, but I definitely learnt a lot in my first year of knitting. So yeah, this is the Breezy top. It's very beautiful. I would highly recommend knitting it, and I would for sure be happy to knit another one. Okay. Next. This guy. Okay, so next, I think I knit this next. It's difficult to remember exactly what I knit after what. This is the Lace Raglan by James N. Watts. I'm not sure what is the front and what is the back, because there isn't any short rows, so either. This was easy and tricky, I would say, to knit. I definitely made some mistakes going through, but they're not super easy to find. The pattern is knit with short sleeves, but I made long sleeves because I thought that was cute. And yeah, the yarn I used is again a cotton. It's the Summerlight, I think it's called the Summerlight something by Rowan, and the colour is this sort of burgundy colour. I don't remember what it was called, but yeah, I really enjoyed knitting this pattern, even though I did make mistakes. Mistakes happen, you know. And this was extremely difficult to go back and fix your mistakes because there's a lot going on with yarn overs and things like that. So if I made a mistake, often I didn't go back and fix it, unless it was sort of simple, a simple fix. But here it was not super simple to fix mistakes. But yeah, in the end, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. I haven't worn it so much because it was too warm and then it was too cold. So I think the spring is going to be a nice time to wear this top. Yeah. Cool. So that is my rib lace raglan. Next we have... Okay. Next, this is my attempt at... I think it's camisole number 5? Number 5 or number 7? I don't remember. By My Favourite Things Knitwear. I did a bad job of knitting this. I knit it in one skein of... not one skein. I knit it in 2 cones. One cone was a... Oh no, I didn't knit this in 2 cones. Ignore me, I'm going crazy. I knit this with 1 cone, which is 70% merino and 30% silk or something like that. It's a cone I've had for a very long time. And so I used that. It was knit with 3mm needles, and so for some reason it's extremely wide. I got bored of knitting, so I stopped knitting, and I didn't do the edges because I was just not enjoying knitting this, basically. I really did not enjoy knitting this. And the needles I was using were like a 3mm bamboo needle, but they were not very varnished, so the feeling of the wool on the bamboo was not super enjoyable. And yeah, it's not amazing. This was white, and I over dyed it with what are they called? Elderberries, which comes out an extremely beautiful colour, I have to say. I will be dyeing more things with elderberries. It's this sort of purpley grey colour. But I have worn this, and I will happily wear this under things. I think I could shrink it in the wash and it might felt a little bit, and I think that's a good idea. I think I'm going to put it in the washing machine, and maybe it's going to shrink a bit and it's going to be more fitted and easier to wear as a little bra. But it's definitely not what the pattern showed, so yeah. That was that. Was not super enjoyable, but I did it. So let's see, what's next? Okay, next, are we already in February? No, I think I knit this next. September. Yeah, this is the beginning of September. Okay, yeah. So Martina from We Grow Wild, she held a knit along called Shall We Shawl. Me, I'd never knit a shawl before, and I was extremely excited to knit one. I already had pattern ideas, And the pattern I chose was the, excuse my pronunciation, Hindelbeer Shawl by Fibre Tales, which I think translates to elderberries or elderflower, elderberries, I think, something like that. And this is my shawl. I will show you. Here's the top. There we go. Here is the shawl. And this was so enjoyable to knit. The yarn that I used is an alpaca. It's a 3-ply with 3 different colours, sort of a white, a lighter brown and a darker brown. So it creates this sort of marl effect, and it's so soft. It's definitely made me fall in love with alpaca. It's the first time I knit anything in alpaca. And I love it so much. I'm going to put it on. I wear it like this most of the time. That's how I like to wear it. Sometimes I will wear it like this, around here, and then like this. Sometimes I will wear it like this. Yeah, I love it. I love it so much. It's one of my favourite things I've knit. There's a lot going on. There's bubbles. There's these cables along the edge. There's little tassels. I just love it. And it took me about a month to knit this, and yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's a pattern that I would highly recommend. It was a lot of work. I don't think I would knit it again, just because it was a lot of work with all the bubbles, but it was definitely worth it, and it was cool because it was part of a knit along, so it was kind of encouraging. We were sharing pictures and stuff on our little group chat, so I absolutely love this shawl, and yeah, it's definitely one of my favourite things that I've knit. And also it's nice to see your improvement in what you're knitting, but for me anyway, it feels nice to see an improvement. So yeah, I felt like this showed an improvement from when I started to September, when I knit this, well, when it was finished in October. So that is my first shawl that I knit, and after I knit this shawl, I decided to knit another shawl, which was my own design, which is this shawl. And it's a very simple shawl. It's just yarn overs in the middle and yarn overs along this edge here for increases, and then I just varied little pattern of sort of a moss stitch, a knit, stockinette stitch, and then I did this leaf pattern that I copied from the leaf top, and then I just carried on here, and then I ran out of yarn, so I added this yellow border, which is a mix of different yarns. All of these yarns are from my weaving stash, so they're all a bit of a mix from my weaving yarns. None of them have names, they're all just sort of leftover yarns from university. So yeah, here is just a mix of yellows that creates this sort of marley effect. And I just did stockinette stitch to add this border to make it a little bit bigger. And I would normally wear this like this because it's quite a small one, and just to keep my neck warm. Yeah, I think it's pretty cute for my first sort of try at knitting my own shawl. I would like it to be a bit bigger, but I ran out of yarn, so it happens. But this colour, I really love this colour combination. I was kind of calling it my autumn pumpkin shawl. So yeah, that is that. That is my first sort of shawl endeavours, and I definitely would love to knit more shawls. They're very enjoyable to knit. Next, next I knit the Fluff Nugget cardigan by Soprano Knits. Where is the... Oops. And this is where we are with the cardigan. I had a few issues with yarn. I ran out of yarn, of course. The yarn I was using was a yarn that I found in a shop in Italy. It was sort of a no-name yarn because it was in a reduced section. So I thought I had enough, but apparently I did not have enough. So yeah, I don't know what's going to happen with this cardigan. The sleeves are very, very small. And I haven't finished adding buttons. There is a button band with holes for buttons, but I haven't put any buttons yet. This was my first time doing brioche, which I really enjoyed, the brioche stitch. And the yarn is a merino yarn. And yeah, I'm not really sure what's going to happen with this, if I keep it and wear it, or if I rip it back and knit something else. I don't really know. Yeah, I'll see. The pattern for the Fluff Nugget cardigan is very, very beautiful. I just don't think I did it justice with this, as I ran out of yarn and fluff in the mouth, and it's very small. It fits me. It's just what I wanted was an oversized cardigan, and what I got was the opposite. So, you know. Anyway, that's that. Let's not talk so much more about that. Yeah. I'm not sure what's going to happen with this guy. Okay, moving on. Something I didn't talk about is this thing that I knit for my boyfriend. It's just a very basic hat that I had this super chunky yarn. It's the Wool in the Gang, the chunkiest wool. I can't remember what it's called. And I knit this hat. I have no idea what the pattern was. I think I just followed something on YouTube. I just forgot to talk about this earlier. And then I dyed it with turmeric, and the turmeric didn't stay because turmeric goes away with light. So anyway, so that's that. That's just a very basic hat that I knit for my boyfriend. And yeah, okay, so moving on. The next thing I finished was this. This is the Unarmoured Defense Cowl by Cat Weaver. And I love this. I finished this on my trip to London to see my parents. This is knit in a woolly knit, Blueface Leicester, and it's so sheepy, and I love this with the long neck, these little shoulder areas, this nice pattern on the front. I decided to do I-cord little tag tassel-y thingies on the sides, and yeah, I think it was knit in 4mm needles. I would say 4mm is my favourite size needle to knit with. Anything smaller and it's too long. 5 is okay, and I haven't knit much more with that, much higher. Like mostly I knit between 4 and 5. So yeah, this was a very lovely pattern to knit, and I don't really know what else to say about it, to be honest. There was this cool little knit one slip stitch sort of pattern. I think it was that. I can't really remember very well. And yeah, it's a really nice cowl. I don't find the wool itchy personally, but I'm pretty good with wool. And I haven't worn it so much because it's been very cold, so I've been wearing more jumpers. But this is really great for sort of springtime or autumn time when you want something to keep your neck warm, but you don't want a full-on woolly jumper. And so yeah, really, really nice knit, and that's it. Okay, let's see. Moving on. I won't talk about these too much because I already talked about them in my last podcast episode, but I knit them this year, so I will talk about them a bit. This is my Permafro sweater by Vitra Designs. As I said before, I ran out of yarn like 3 times with this guy. I started it in, I don't even remember, like even October, no, August? I think I started this in summer and I finished it in November or December or something like that. I have worn this a lot. It needs a wash. I just dragged it out of the washing bin and it's already very pilly. This is knit with drops boucle, 2 strands boucle, 1 strand alpaca. The yarn is extremely soft and fluffy and cozy. I wear this jumper a lot. It's extremely warm and yeah, I love it. It's super nice. I would like to dye the colour darker, sort of a darker brown at some point, which I will do. Okay, that's my permafrost sweater. Next, we have another jumper I already talked about. This is my Into the Wild jumper by Tanya Barley. This is one of my favourite jumpers that I knit this year, or my favourite things that I knit this year, along with my shawl. I wanted to knit this for a year since I started knitting, and I saw this pattern. I knew I couldn't knit it yet, and I didn't have the technical ability, but I knew I wanted to knit it. And finally, I think in November, I decided I had the ability, and I knit it. And I knit the colours recommended in the pattern. The yarn is Floater Lopi by Istex. It's an unspun yarn, and I really, really enjoyed knitting with it. It's a pleasure to knit with. I love the fluffiness. For me, it's not itchy at all, really. I would say it even is a little bit soft, in my opinion. I don't think it's very itchy. Yeah, I love it. I love the foxes. Foxes are one of my favourite animals, and I think it's super cute. The only thing I would say is that I wish I knit it a little bit bigger, a little bit more the size of this jumper, but that's fine. It's a different style. It's a little bit tighter, and I love it. This was knit in 4mm needles, and the colours are the recommended colours from the pattern. So yeah, that was my Into the Wild jumper, and I love it. So cute. Okay, so the last thing I knit this year is this. This is the Lopi, no, the something Lopi, the Simple Lopi, or something like that, by Melody Hoffman. This is not at all what the pattern ordered. So basically what happened was I knit the whole pattern. It's very oversized, and I knit it, I knit all the way to the split hem, and I finished it. I tried it on, and I did not like the way it looked on me with the split hem. It was just too sort of big. I don't know, I just didn't like the way it looked. And so I ripped it back to where the hem split, and I just did a simple 1 by 1 rib and then bound off. And I was wearing the jumper and I loved it and it was great, and then I put it in the washing machine by accident and it's kind of a little bit felted. So it still fits, but it's not at all the jumper that is on the pattern. The yarn I used is the Manche Lopi, Wool Dreamers Manche Lopi unspun yarn. It's in the darkest shade of brown. And the thing is, the jumper still is fitting. It's not too small, but the arms are a little bit too small now. So I think either I will re-block it and stretch the arms, or one of my subscribers had a very interesting idea to cut down the front and do a button band and turn it into a cardigan, which I thought was also a really great idea, which I never thought about. As it's a bit felted, I don't think it's going to unravel very much, which would be great to do a little button band. So yeah, that is also an idea for the jumper. But yeah, that is my last finished object of 2022. This jumper that I'm wearing now, I finished not the beginning. I finished a week ago, so I'm not going to talk about this jumper. I did start it in 2022, but I didn't finish it, so I'm not going to talk about it in this video. I will talk about this jumper in my next podcast. And I really hope you enjoyed watching this video and seeing everything that I knit in 2022. I am sorry if I went a bit too fast and forgot any information. If you have any questions, just please leave a comment and I will answer them. So yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, I would love it for you to subscribe. It's really helpful for my channel, and thank you so much for being here, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!